Oh, hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Corona Spotlight 2020. I am your host, Gayle Nicholson. Happy to be back again for a Friday. And although it's kind of casual Friday, if you're doing such a thing, we are meeting with HR, so I figured a collared shirt would be appropriate. Actually, we are meeting with HR Chique today, and I am very, very excited about what Angie Hamilton, who is the owner over there and the girl who knows what's going on, can do to help all of you who may be starting to look at going and looking for a new job. So let me bring her on so that she can tell you all the ways that she can help you. Hi, Angie. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Fantastic, fantastic. Happy it's Friday. How about you?
Yes, I am. It's Fleurs Day because we don't know what day of the week it is now.
Right? Blur's Day. Yes, this is the last Blur's Day that I have to, like put my makeup on.
Mhm.
Right? Well, it's good to see you. You are over there in Florida. How's the weather doing over there? Are we gonna get thunder boomers while we're talking?
Probably so. We're expecting thunderstorms this afternoon. So we will have some torrential rain that will come through here in a couple of minutes.
Alrighty. Well, if anything goes south and we lose you, we love you and we'll catch up with you later. But I was really really excited when I received your questions and answers back to me. Because before that, honestly, even though we'd had a conversation, I really didn't. It didn't click for me what you do for people, right? So
Mhm.
let's just actually begin by giving that a little bit of a snapshot. What is it that you offer to people, and how did you come to do that for them?
Absolutely. So my company is the HR Chique Group. We're a consultancy firm supporting small businesses, individuals, and startups, but creating very diverse, organic, and dynamic cultures. A part of that process is really establishing great people systems because your people are the most important asset of any organization and any company. So that's always been extremely important to me in creating those dynamic cultures.
That's amazing. That I love the idea of it that small business and entrepreneurs can outsource their HR department, and it's not ADP. It's not this huge conglomerate that that really doesn't have a connection with your actual employees. So thanks for being in business and doing what you do for us. That's really amazing. Now, most people are calling this time an economic recession. We've been through some pretty sketchy
Absolutely.
times, right? Not in the not too distant past. Um,
Mhm.
but things are really kind of scary right now. Unemployment numbers are way up there. Um, should people actually be looking
Well,
for work at this time?
you definitely should be looking for work at this time. We have over 40 million Americans that are displaced and out of work and furloughed.
Hmm.
And now is the time more than ever to look for gainful employment. Even though you may have been laid off, there are companies that are still in the midst of hiring. So look out there on the active job boards, network with individuals to see whether or not there are opportunities for you. But don't wait or wait until the actual economy opens up to start that job search. Do it now.
Kind of like if you're looking for a holiday job to pay for a few extra presents. You don't wait till
Right.
November to apply, right? You got to be in there
Oh,
September,
oh,
October.
you have to be proactive.
Yep.
Yeah, you have to be proactive. And what I'm hearing from individuals, they're scared to do that. What happens if I, apply for a job and they, lay me off? Well, there's no guarantee for any position out there. So you always have to be ready and prepared to make that next move to help you in your career.
Excellent. Now, what can people do right now to help them become more employable as part of this process? I mean, there's stuff that they could be doing while they're sitting at home binging Netflix, right?
Yeah. I mean, while you're binging Netflix, you can actually be binging training looking for some additional training that will support not only your skill set, but will support you in that next role. Now is a good time if you're volunteering to use those volunteer skills to add to your resume. You can certainly add volunteer abilities to your resume. And lastly, really updating that resume. For some individuals, if you've been in a place for a long period of time, it's probably been a while since you've actually taken a look at your resume. So if you don't have one, create one. And if you're looking at moving into a new industry, look at the skills that they're seeking for those positions. And there are a lot of free resources out there that are offering free training. So hop on those, those free training courses and free training certifications that will help and support you in your search.
Excellent insight. And that I want to back that up with. I've seen a lot of things crossing my Facebook feed lately on $2,000 course reduced to $37. If you've got the $37, it's worth the investment. And then I have also heard that there are universities like MIT and a couple of other ones that have put their curriculum online. Mm-hmm. And if you want to, you can get an entire university career online at no cost. So yeah, I agree with you 100%. Back you up on that. Instead of Netflix binging, education binging.
There's nothing wrong with There's nothing wrong with Netflix. I love it too. But since you have this time, we don't know when we'll ever have sufficient time to devote to our professional development. So now is the time to do that.
Excellent. Now, on the other side of the equation, the business owners, right? What would you recommend that they could do that could help their employees if they're being forced into a situation where they've got to close down work for a while, possibly lay off, God forbid, close forever?
Right. Yeah. So now if you're looking at possibly laying off or furloughing your staff, the most important thing that you can do is communication. We've seen where communication has gone wrong. I won't name the company, but last week, they laid off hundreds of individuals via Zoom. That is not the appropriate method to do that. You have to be empathetic during this time. We know it's difficult for you as a small business, having that separate conversation with each employee that's impacted, one, for confidentiality, and two, to personalize that whole situation. There's nothing like to being, corralled in one room with all of your peers and then, being told that you're being let go. Mm-hmm. There's a way to do it and to really humanize this process. Yeah. And when you do it right, employees do respect you. And hopefully when all of this does pick up and change, those same employees will possibly return.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. Yeah, way to break up over text. That's raw.
Yeah. It was rough. Yeah, major corporation. Yeah, reduced everyone and cut them off via Zoom. Yeah,
not good. All right, now back to the employees for a couple of minutes. What are some of the top tips for what they can do to punch up their resume a little bit? Because, like you mentioned earlier, maybe you haven't had to have a resume for a long time. And between 2008 and now, I've noticed a kind of a shift in how we do resumes that's new, that some people that have been employed for more than 10 years won't know about. What are those?
Well, one of the things is not making your resume very static. And what I mean by that is when you read your resume, you say, well, I produce X, Y, and Z show. Well, what we're really looking for is an active voice. Like, what are you doing? What have you done? And then follow it up with the result. I led the #1 radio show in the nation, yielding 620,000 subscribers, because those employers want to see the results and they really want to know what you truly do, and not, rewriting your actual job description, because you're an individual. You're, an individual person, and we want to see that personality shine throughout the resume. Secondly, what I've seen is individuals are really happy about all of their work history. You don't need to contain all of your work history. I've seen resumes that have 12 pages, 10 pages, 6 pages. The maximum, no more than 3 pages, if you can, if you have that information, but really outlining the top accomplishments that you had at each of those jobs and really showcasing the work and the contributions that you made to those companies.
Now, is there a way to like restructure? I think they're called like CVs, where, say, for instance, I've got skills from 20 years ago, but I don't want to have the 7 or 8 jobs that I've had in
Right.
between appear, like take up space, aren't relevant, looks like I'm job hopping, all of those things. But I want to highlight that I've had these skills and I've used them with every job very well. How do you do that?
Yeah, so there's 2 different forms of resume. There's a chronological formatted resume and really a summary resume. And so for someone that has a very strong expertise and experience level, you would use the summary resume because that summarizes all of your work history, just focusing on those skills that you use. And you can just list the companies that you worked for just to show and highlight those companies. For chronological, it's great for those individuals that are entry to mid-level to actually list their jobs, by dates. But for those that are extremely experienced, the summary resume would work best, more of a functional resume.
Awesome, awesome. Now, is there, when it comes to actually doing job searches, I mean, the simplest thing I think that you can do is put your stuff on LinkedIn and wait for LinkedIn to go, oh, we found these for you. Here, apply, right?
Right.
That is the basic job search 101. That's the least you can do. But
Right.
for those who actually, want to put something into it, what is the new normal for job searching? Because we're not, hoofing it to the business,
Mhm.
smiling faces and ties knotted. Here's my resume. Can I have an appointment, please? Anymore. How do you do it now?
Now it's all about connections and making those connections and networking. The best thing that you can do is networking with someone that is, at a company that you're trying to really gain entry in. You may not know that person on a personal level, but try to reach out to that person. So if you're on LinkedIn, trying to make those connections with those individuals so that you have some type of virtual connection, whether it's through a virtual coffee, just trying to really get to know that person and letting them know what you have to offer and why you're interested in joining that company. That will segue and gain you entry into that company that you're trying to really pursue. There's nothing wrong with actually applying for positions, but we always tell candidates to not, just spray and pray, meaning spraying your resume out to every source out there and just praying that someone calls on you, making sure that you have a focus about your search, making a list of the companies that you have an interest in, look for their openings. And even if they don't have an opening, go ahead and apply to their career network. So just in case something opens up, you're already in the candidate pool and they can take a look at you first.
That's awesome advice. Wonderful. Um, Now, let me talk a little bit for a second about what you're offering to our audience today. Okay? Now, this is a 15-minute consultation with you to
Mm-hmm.
help people take a look at whatever resume they may already have, audit that resume, or do some career coaching. Maybe they want to change industries, and that's a big thing, especially for the mortgage industry,
Right.
and realty and operation right now. Um, people are in that industry, whether it's through the same bank or not, for 20 years, and now they're just like, okay, I am so over it. I gotta get some fresh air, some fresh blood, do something different, right?
Right.
So is that the kind of conversations they can expect in a career coaching call with you?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm currently offering complimentary consultations through the first part of June, June 10th. And what I'm doing is actually trying to give this back, give my experience back to other individuals to help them secure employment. That's what's important, is getting people back to work. So taking a look at their resume, discussing what their career goals are, because everyone has a goal. And does that goal really align to what you're doing right now in terms of your job search? So that would be a part of that conversation. And
Excellent.
if those individuals wanted to continue that relationship, we could definitely work together.
Excellent. Excellent. Now, let's talk a little bit for a second about the fact that the new normal is, I'm kind of hoping, going to be a lot more of us actually working from home.
Yes.
Right? So,
Mm.
is there a special hook to finding those work from home positions, or tailoring your resume so that it highlights the fact that you've already got a home office set up? Let's do this. Yeah?
Mhm. Yeah. So if you're currently working remotely or you have worked remotely, when you're actually creating your resume, you should really identify that, whether if you worked at home, you were considered remote, virtual, depending upon your company, everyone has a different terminology, but really highlighting that information. So when a company is actually looking through your resume, they will know that you already have that experience, because some of the concerns that an employer may, consider is that this person hasn't been in that environment before. How will this person adjust to this environment? What will we need to do in terms of providing tools and resources to help them adjust? But if you have that experience, go ahead and identify that on the resume. Even if you worked for just a brief period of time, you can actually add that to your resume to benefit you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot, I'm hoping anyways, a lot of businesses going forward are going to choose to retain this ability to work from home. I think that it works a lot better for a lot of our families, um,
Okay.
you know, and but that's, I mean, that my sample is very small. you know, I come from family that works from home, and when the kids come home from school, there's somebody there. Now, I may not be as accessible, when you're working from home. Close the door, and fire or smoke used to be our rules. If there's fire, no, excuse me, fire or blood. If there was fire
Oh,
or blood, then you could interrupt me. It's a pretty good standard to live by. They learned how to manage themselves, and handle the small stuff, So I would love to see that happening further, because I like the idea of, at least for myself, not having an hour and a half commute each way. Yeah.
yes.
And feeling every day like 3 hours of my life is wasted that I'm not getting back, even if I'm listening to audiobooks. Because
Mm-hmm.
most of the time there's like a checklist in my head of dishes need to be done, laundry needs to be done. These are all things that I could take 15-minute break to walk away from the computer, as is recommended, right?
Right.
Go load the dishwasher, come back to work. Go switch a load in the laundry, come back to work. So my weekends can be spent enjoying my family, not doing the chores. I mean, there's so many reasons why I am behind this work from home thing, right? And so yeah. Do you have anything to add in
Oh,
that
yeah.
particular area? Please do.
Yes, I would definitely agree with you. The commuting alone adds stress, undue stress to individuals. I mean, when employees get to work, they're already upset because they've sat in traffic for over an hour or 45 minutes. So thinking about it, putting in 9 to 10 hours in that day, you're already exhausted. So I think this is a win-win solution, not only for employers and companies, but also for employees.
Mm-hmm.
You have that ability now to really create a work-life balance that you didn't really have before.
Isn't that the truth?
Mhm.
Isn't that the truth? Awesome. All right. Well, do you have any final thoughts for our audience today? Anything that you would like to leave them with as we head off into the weekend?
Oh, absolutely. So I would just share with everyone that's listening and out there, that know that this is a really difficult time for all of us to circumvent and go through this crisis. Just know that when you need to take a break, take a break. It's hard. This is some hard work. But if you're looking for a job, don't give up. If you have to apply to 300 people, there's that one person, the one company out there that will give you the opportunity. So don't rest your laurels. Continue to pursue your goals because you can do it. And again, companies are hiring and they want you.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you again, Angie, for being here with me today, and especially for doing what you're doing out there in the world to help people get their new lives reestablished with whatever way they want to go. Thank you so much for your contribution.
You're very welcome.
All right, everyone, have a wonderful, wonderful Friday. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you again on Monday. Take care. Bye-bye. When you open actual energy work, makes that recovery progress so much faster. That recovery is possible. You do not have to live as a victim until your last days. You have unbelievable strength, and I know that because you're still here. Do you want to create something completely unrecognizable with your life? I can show you how.